You are too easy to read, too predictable, too open. And every person who has ever outmaneuvered you, every promotion that went to someone less qualified, every negotiation you lost, every opportunity that slipped, happened because they saw you coming before you even moved. Transparency is sold to you as virtue, as authenticity, as the honorable way to move through the world. And in the right context, with the right people, it has its place. But in the arena of ambition, competition, and power, transparency is not a virtue. It is a vulnerability, and you have been handing it out for free. Think about the last time you told someone your plan before it was finished. The last time you showed your excitement before the deal was closed. The last time you revealed your need before the negotiation was won. Did it help you, or did it hand the other person exactly what they needed to position against you? Transparency hands your opponents a map of your desires, your fears, your timeline, your ceiling. And the person who has your map while you have nothing of theirs wins every interaction before it begins. Robert Greene spent 30 years studying power. He read thousands of historical cases. He identified the patterns that separate the men who win from the men who lose. And one pattern appears in every single case of strategic defeat. The loser showed his hand. Not because he was weaker, not because his plan was worse, because the person who beat him knew his plan, and he knew nothing of theirs. Information asymmetry is the most decisive advantage in any human competition, and right now, you are on the wrong side of it. This video is about ending that asymmetry permanently. Not by becoming cold, not by becoming deceptive, by becoming strategic, by understanding what to show, what to conceal, and what to reveal at precisely the right moment for maximum effect. Because the men who keep winning, the ones who seem to always be 3 steps ahead, are not smarter than you. They are less readable than you. And that is a learnable skill. Stay with this, because what Robert Greene discovered about transparency and what the most powerful operators in history understood about concealment will permanently change how you move through every competitive environment you inhabit. Stop being transparent. Here's why it is the reason they keep winning and how it ends today. Let us start with what you were taught. Be honest, be open. Let people see who you really are. Authenticity builds trust. Vulnerability creates connection. The more transparent you are, the more people will respect and support you. And in genuine relationships, in contexts of real trust, that is partially true. The problem is that you were never taught to distinguish between contexts where transparency builds connection and contexts where transparency builds your opponent's strategy against you. So you applied the transparency lesson everywhere. In your workplace, where your colleagues are also your competition. In your negotiations, where the other party is optimizing for their outcome, not yours. In your social positioning, where perception is the currency and you have been spending yours carelessly. This knowledge is for protection, not destruction. Understanding strategic concealment is not about becoming manipulative. It's about understanding that the game has always been played this way, and you were the only one who did not know the rules. The workplace is not a safe space for transparency. Every piece of information you share about your ambitions, your frustrations, your financial situation, your plans gets filed by someone. And filed information in competitive environments does not sit idle. It gets used. Comment right now. Think of a specific time when something you shared openly was used against you in a competitive context. You don't need to share the details, just acknowledge it happened. Because acknowledging it is the beginning of strategic awareness. The people keeping you from what you want are not necessarily more talented. They are more opaque. They share less. They reveal their timelines to no one. They discuss their plans with nobody until they're already in motion. They protect their strategic information the way a chess player protects his pieces. And while you were being authentic, they were being strategic. While you were building trust through openness, they were building advantage through concealment. And then you wondered why, with equal talent and greater effort, they kept arriving first. Robert Greene called this one of the most consistent patterns in the history of power. The men who accumulate it, who build it and keep it, are almost universally characterized by their strategic opacity. They give nothing away before the moment of maximum advantage. This does not mean trust no one. It means understand the difference between the people who have earned your strategic information through demonstrated loyalty, through aligned interests, through proven discretion, and the people who receive it by default because you have never been taught to distinguish. Green studied Talleyrand, the French diplomat who served under 5 different governments, including Napoleon, who was described by his contemporaries as impossible to read, as impossible to predict, as someone who always seemed to know more than he revealed and reveal less than he knew. Talleyrand outlasted every regime he served. He outlasted men more powerful, more talented, and more connected than himself. His survival instrument was simple. Nobody could predict his next move because nobody knew enough about his current position to extrapolate it. You don't need to navigate 5 government collapses, but you do navigate workplaces, relationships, social hierarchies, negotiations, and in every one of these environments, the Talleyrand principle applies. The less readable you are, the more options you have. And now, Robert Greene himself. Because to use his ideas, you need to understand the man who synthesized 2,000 years of power observation into the most comprehensive strategic manual ever written. Because Greene didn't invent these ideas, he excavated them from history, from biography, from the documented strategies of the most powerful operators across every culture and every era. He simply made visible what the powerful had always known and never taught. Robert Greene, born 1959, Los Angeles, studied classical studies at the University of Wisconsin, worked over 50 jobs, from construction worker to translator to Hollywood screenwriter, before writing the book that changed everything. He wrote The 48 Laws of Power in 1998 with Jost Elfers. It was rejected by every major publisher. When it was finally published, it was banned in some prisons because authorities decided it was too dangerous for inmates to read. That's the most accurate review any book has ever received. It is now sold over 3 million copies. It's read by rappers, by CEOs, by athletes, by politicians, by military strategists, and by every person who decided that understanding power was more useful than pretending it doesn't exist. Greene is not a cynic. He's a realist. He doesn't prescribe manipulation, he describes reality. The reality of how power operates in human environments. And the man who understands that reality navigates it more effectively than the man who insists it should be different. And from his 30 years of research, from thousands of historical cases, from biographies of the powerful and the powerless, from his own experience in 50 different competitive environments, came the one line that contains everything you need to know about transparency and power. Conceal your intentions. Keep people off balance and in the dark by never revealing the purpose behind your actions. Conceal your intentions, not your character, not your values, not your humanity, your intentions. What you're planning, what you want, what your timeline is, what your ceiling is, what you would accept, what you fear. That information in competitive environments belongs to you alone. Keep people off balance and in the dark, not through deception, through the simple act of not handing them the information they would use to predict and position against you. The darkness is not created by you, it is the natural state. You have simply stopped illuminating it for them at your own expense. Never revealing the purpose behind your actions. This does not mean having no purpose. It means that the purpose is revealed by the result, not telegraphed in advance. The man who acts without announcing his purpose arrives at it. The man who announces it gives his competition time to block it. Now, 7 lessons from Greene's framework, each one a specific strategic behavior that separates the transparent man from the unreadable man, and each one immediately applicable to the competitive environments you are in right now. Lesson 1. Never reveal your next move. Greene's most fundamental principle. The man whose next move is unknown has infinite strategic options. The man whose next move is predicted only has the options his opponent has not yet blocked. Most men announce their next move unconsciously through their excitement, their complaints, their questions, their focus, their reading material, their associations. Every one of these signals is information, and information in competitive environments is ammunition. The practice is simple but demanding. Before sharing any information about what you're planning, ask who benefits from knowing this. If the answer is not clearly you, keep it. The habit of this question applied consistently transforms how much strategic information you leak within weeks. Comment, think of a plan you are currently working on that you have already told too many people about. You don't need to share what it is, just acknowledge that telling happened before the doing. That awareness is the beginning of strategic awareness. The people keeping you from what you want are not necessarily more talented. They are more opaque. They share less. They reveal their timelines to no one. They discuss their plans with nobody until they're already in motion. They protect their strategic information the way a chess player protects his pieces. And while you were being authentic, they were being strategic. While you were building trust through openness,